Entrepreneurs are faced with many problems on a day-to-day basis regarding businesses. Unlike corporations, when something like a pandemic hit, they're literally fighting for their lives to keep their livelihood together. Just like any businesses, you're faced with tough decisions. So all of those things that you face as an entrepreneur while you're trying to build your business or maintain your business or grow your business causes a lot of anxiety. I have 13 tips that I want to give you as an entrepreneur to help deal with anxiety in business. The first tip that I want to give you as an entrepreneur to help deal with your anxiety is know your strengths. A lot of entrepreneurs, they know their strengths, but they also try to dabble in things that they don't know a lot about, which causes them anxiety, stress, to be overwhelmed. If you are in business and you have something going for you that you're not sure about, delegate it to someone else. Fiverr, different things like that. You can pay people for their expertise. So sometimes little or nothing on apps like Fiverr. It may require a little more time from you to go back and forth with these people, because some of them are from other countries and there are language barriers, but they produce great work. If you're not good at something, offset it, delegate it. That's going to take a load off from you. And whatever you don't know, delegate. Ask a family member, ask a friend if you don't have the funds or resources to pay someone. But find a way to get that done without creating more stress or overwhelming yourself trying to figure out how to do something that you really don't know how to do. Along with knowing your strengths, if you are a one-man show, sometimes you need a team when you're dealing with certain things. Let's say, for instance, you have a job and you're trying to build a online presence or something, and your job is present. Maybe you can hire an intern that you can write off and sign off their college stuff for them to help you get things done. Sometimes you need a team. I know with social media and everything, everybody's promoting, I don't need nobody. I walk past my family members and all this stuff that y'all be saying. I'm just here to tell you, as an ICU nurse, those words come back to haunt you. When you laying in that bed in that hospital, you sick and you lonely and nobody's coming to see you. So you need people. You need people, that's the bottom line. So if you are a one-man show, actually could use some help to do something that can ease and take the load off of you, look for internships. If you can't afford to pay someone, find interns. That's a way that you can get people to help you, and it's a give and take. You're signing off their hours and they're helping you with your business, and when their time up, you just get another intern and just keep the process flowing until you're able to pay someone. Be transparent. Whatever it is that your business is, be transparent of what it is that you do in your business. If someone comes to you and asks you to do something that's out of the scope of your practice or something that you're not sure about, I know sometimes we want the business because you don't really want to ever turn down business if they're coming to you with something that you could be doing. But if you don't know how to do it, or that's a step that you haven't gotten to yet, don't take on a stress and overload and promise people something that you really can't deliver on. Be transparent in business and be upfront with people and tell people what it is that you do, what it is that you can deliver, and you do and deliver on those things. If you can't, then don't be taking people business and people money and you can't produce. I seen something going around on the internet about somebody offering like a decorating service, and they're charging people like $7,000-8,000 to decorate their venue for their events. And then when you see the product, it's very much giving $500 worth and not $7,000 worth. Now what you're doing, you got people in the age of social media, you're being blasted. And guess what? People gonna look at those reviews. You have to be careful of just like what you're putting out there, and you really don't offer those services, and you really don't do it. So transparency is key. Always have a game plan. And the reason, you should always have a game plan, and this is just in life in general, but even more when you're an entrepreneur trying to run a business, is because you just never know what happened. None of us could see what started in 2020 and still rolling over right now to 2021. Nobody was planning for a pandemic. Some of us ain't even know what it was. And then boom, here it is. Businesses were shut down left and right. It's so sad to me when I'm driving down in Wynwood and I see business that were once good and thriving, and now they closed down because they couldn't survive the pandemic. So I hope that those people who have those businesses had an emergency funding to cover their losses or to just be able to maintain their bills now that their business is closed down until they figure out what's next. You have to always have a game plan, as an entrepreneur, because you're not a big corporation. Nobody heard about McDonald's or, Burger King or places like that closed down because their corporation. There's tons of them. Maybe one or two closed down, but they probably was going to close down before the pandemic anyway. Who knows? But if we could sum up 2020 and 2021 is plan for the worst and pray for the best when you in business, because nobody saw that coming. You have to properly manage expectations. If you're a business that's just starting out, I'm not trying to discourage you, but you need to have realistic expectations for your business. If you don't have realistic expectations for your business or anything in life for that matter, you will always set yourself up for failure or to have anxiety or depression because you're not meeting goals that you have set for yourself. If you select realistic expectations for yourself, you got a clothing brand and you're selling clothes and nobody knows about you yet, but your expectations for the month is $10,000 a month because you got to pay your bills. You've put everything into your business and you need it to work like this. You're gonna be setting yourself up for anxiety and or depression because hello, you just starting out. Nobody know who you are. Nobody knows about your business. It will take time to build up to that. Be true to yourself. Minimize the anxiety and depression by being true to yourself, by setting realistic expectations for your business. You have to put a hard stop sometime on everything. If you're a business that has been, around for a long time, or if you're a business that's even just starting out, sometimes you got to put a hard stop and just breathe. Sit back, take a look at what you're going through, what you've been through. Sometimes you got to re-strategize and figure out, okay, this is not working. Let me try this. Just because you started out a way, and if it's not working, regroup. Figure out what do you need to do to either improve what it is that you're doing, grow what it is that you're doing. Hold on. Pump the brakes. Okay, what do I need to do to fix this? Take the time out to do it. We get caught up in this time thing, which equally creates anxiety and depression for us, worrying about time too much. The time gonna pass either way. You'll hear me saying that a lot of my videos because I'm a strong believer that we put too much on ourselves when we focus on time, and the time gonna pass either way. Ain't nothing you can do to control that. Sometimes we have to focus on what we are doing right now. A lot of times we get caught up as entrepreneurs worrying about the future. And I know you're supposed to build and brand with the future in mind, but that's separate from doing what needs to be done right now. Let each day take care of itself. Measure your progress. How you're doing. What can you do better? You have to self-evaluate yourself in the business, and if you're a team, you have to self-evaluate the team as well, so you guys can figure out, okay, what do we need to do to make this better? What could we add to our business to add more products, add more services? Constantly measuring your progress in your business so that you're not standing still and stale, because the competition is always, we do it a lot on social media. We be like, oh, girl, TikTok ain't waste no time in doing this, and Instagram said, oh, TikTok did this, and then Instagram came out with Reels, and Twitter did this, and these businesses are like this. They're staying competitive because they're watching their competition. So you got to stay on top of your game and measure where you're going, keep up with what's happening so that you can stay fresh and not become a has-been. When business seems like it's just too much, you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, you're anxious, think about why you started the business to start with. Sometimes just going back to the core or why you started something kind of gives you a renewed feeling about that. Always reflect on why you started the business to start with. And sometimes you could gain fresh ideas from that. When you think about, you know what, I'm a little lost right now. I'm not doing what I set out to do. Let me revisit this. Why did I start this business? Write it down. See if you're still in line with what you started the business for. Sometimes we are stressed out and we are overwhelmed and getting depressed. We're doing a whole lot of stuff that's not aligned with what we started out for the business to go. You're gonna probably end up unhappy because now you're not doing what you love to do anymore. You're just doing. And we don't want to be existence people that's just doing as entrepreneurs, because this is our livelihood. So we need to make sure that we're doing what we have to be doing to keep our business thriving, growing, and etc. Celebrate your small wins. If you reach that 1,500 goal for the online business again, celebrate that. You be online and you see people posting, oh, they had $1 million day or whatever. That's not your journey. That is not your journey. Celebrate your small wins. If you had a $1,500 day versus $1 million day, that's a $1,500 day that you did not have before. So celebrate that. That's called gratitude. With that gratitude comes more grace. Celebrate yourself. Clap for your damn self, like they like to say. Get stuff out of your head. We have all these ideas when we're in business sometimes, and we keep it there. When you keep stuff in your head, that's why therapy is so important, because when you keep stuff in your head, you get overwhelmed. You start getting stressed. And then it takes different effects on your body. You don't eat. You don't sleep right because everything is just in your head. If you are a solo entrepreneur, then write it down, journal, put it on paper. Oh, I have this, I want to do this for my business. But set realistic goals with that. Manage the expectations of all these bright ideas you have. Set goals for them. By this day, I want to do this. By this month, I want to have this. By this year, I want to have that. Don't get caught up in the time of it all, but get it out of your head. And if you're a team, if you're a business that has a team, maybe tell your team members, hey, what do you think about, adding strawberry lemonade to the menu? Get it out of your head, because when you just keep stuff there, it piles up. It affects your body in a physical way. You start having anxiety, depression, or you start feeling all these weird things in your body. A lot of times it's just anxiety. A lot of people can't identify with symptoms of anxiety, but it's usually just anxiety. Don't be discouraged about why you're in business if you don't immediately see results. You start thinking, I put all my money into this and it's not working, and you're watching other people's businesses on social media thriving, and you're thinking about what you can do wrong, and you're spending too much negative energy, wasting your time with negative thoughts, thinking about all that's going wrong. Change those thoughts into something positive. Like, if I keep doing this, then this will happen. If I keep doing this, then this could happen. If I read more, maybe I could figure out how to take my business to the next level. Figure out a way to be positive. Change those negative thoughts into a positive so that you can keep pushing for why you started your business in the first place. It don't happen overnight. It sometimes could take years. But if you are working for yourself, and it takes you 5 or 6 years to get to a place of comfort versus working for somebody else that any day they can just come in and work and say, hey, business closed, or we making cuts. I'd rather take the stress and the sacrifice of working for myself 5 and 6 years until it gets where it needs to be than to have somebody, hanging strings over my head and saying, how they controlling how I eat. We have to sacrifice, be grateful for what we have, the opportunity to even start a business, because everybody don't have it. Focus on why you started. Take your time. Don't worry about time, because you can't control that either way. And let's get rid of this entrepreneurship, anxiety, and depression. Like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Angel, the Psych MP. Ciao.